As the virus spreads, there's more and more pressure to try and find a vaccine. Now, vaccines stimulate our immune system by essentially mimicking infections. Critical to any immune response are these small Y-shaped proteins found throughout your body and your bloodstream. These are antibodies. And you've got a huge diversity of antibodies inside you. And each different one binds to a specific pathogen, a virus or a bacteria, and they latch onto the outer surface and deactivate it. Now, during an infection, your body ramps up production of the particular antibody that attacks the thing that is infecting you. But this takes a little while, so the first time you get an infection, the virus can take hold and replicate before there are enough antibodies produced to contain it. But your immune system remembers almost every infection that you've ever had, and it maintains those antibody levels from previous infections. And that's why you can't get most viruses twice. Since none of us have ever encountered this coronavirus before, we don't have any antibodies ready to stop it replicating, and that means we can become critically ill or even die before enough antibodies are made. Now, what a vaccine does is it gives our immune systems a safe shortcut. It usually involves injecting an inactivated, dead sample of the virus that can't cause any symptoms. It won't make you ill, but it will stimulate the body to make lots of those specific antibodies that can fight the actual virus if you ever meet it. Now, finding a safe, effective vaccine is far from easy, but scientists are looking for innovative solutions.
Professor Robin Shattuck and his team at Imperial College London are trying to develop a world first: a safe and effective synthetic vaccine using cutting-edge genetic techniques.
Can you explain to me the difference between a conventional vaccine and your approach?
What's different about our vaccine is what we want to use is the spike on the surface of the virus. That corona that you see on those pictures of those red spikes sticking outside.
Robin's plan for his vaccine is to introduce just the outer spike of the virus into the body. Even though it is only a part of the virus, it should trigger a powerful response from the person's immune system. But unlike traditional vaccines, he's building the spike from scratch, using the virus's own genome, its genetic blueprint.
Chinese scientists published the genetic sequence of the virus on the 10th of January. We were able to identify from that sequence the genetic code that encodes the protein that's on the surface of the virus, what we call the viral spike, and use that to design our prototype vaccine.
Robin's vaccine contains the spike's genetic recipe. It should trick our body into making the spikes itself.
In here you can see we have vials of our prototype. The vaccine is injected into the muscle, and that blueprint, that code, tells the muscles to start churning out the spikes that would normally be expressed on a whole virus.
Even though it's our own body producing the spikes, the immune system still recognizes them as foreign and produces antibodies to combat them.
So the muscle will start producing lots and lots of spikes, and the idea is that that will rouse the immune system and you get the antibody response, and that can hopefully protect you against infection by this particular virus.
That's exactly how the vaccine works.
The real advantage of Robin's approach is that because the vaccine is synthetic, built entirely in the laboratory, it can be produced in volume, incredibly fast.
So these flasks contain bacteria that are producing the genetic material that's used to synthesize the vaccine. These bacteria can produce the genetic template within a day, essentially, and so that's really quick and fast for starting the whole process.
The bacteria are genetically modified to produce the template, which is sent to an industrial laboratory to produce on a vast scale.
So you really have recruited a microscopic army, haven't you?
Absolutely. Here, bacteria are our friends.
This capability has inspired them to aim for an ambitious target.
Now, the thing that's really exciting is because we can manufacture very quickly, we could have 5 million doses ready by the winter.
This is still dependent on successful trials. It would be a world first for a vaccine of this sort. And that comes with its own challenges. A license has never been granted for a vaccine like this. To ensure it's safe and that it works, it must go through rigorous testing.
So the next step is we've started a study in macaques with monkeys, and that will tell us whether the vaccine works at preventing infection in that animal model. It's still an animal model. That doesn't mean it proves it will work in humans.
But it is much closer to humans. So macaques actually get COVID-19, do they?
They do get infected, and they get some degree of symptoms.
Robin hopes to have results within a matter of weeks. And his team are just one of over 40 groups involved in developing a vaccine at an unprecedented pace. A group at the Jenner Institute in Oxford is on the verge of starting human trials, while teams elsewhere have already begun. An astonishing global effort.
So the good news is there are a lot of people in this race.
And the race is not against each other, it's against the virus to get something out there that can save lives.